Hey everybody! First off, I just wanted to say sorry about the sporadic video uploading. This summer is going to be quite busy for me, so I'll get videos out when I can. Around the middle of July, things will start to slow down for me, so I'll be able to get on a better schedule then. But today, we're going to be talking about a couple jazz guitar chord concepts that can add some spice or interest to your comping or chord soloing. Let's check it out right now. So the first concept that we're going to cover today is cluster voicings. These are when we have a minor or major second interval paired with a third interval. The third could be on the top of the cluster or on the bottom of the cluster. So if we took the cluster of G and F sharp, we could add the third on the bottom or on the top. Now once you have your basic guitar cluster voicing, the next thing you want to do is take that voicing and move it through a scale. All that means is that each note of our voicing goes to the next note of whatever scale you're moving that voicing through. Our voicing that we're using today works really well in the key of G, so let's try and see what happens when we move our cluster voicing through this key. So you can see, we get some really amazing voicings. The last step you need to do is figure out which voicings go over what kind of chord. When you're doing this, make sure that your voicing has at least the third or the seventh of whatever the chord you're trying to make is. This voicing, for example, could either be A minor 6 if we put A in the bass, it could be C major 7 sharp 11 if we put C in the bass, or it could be D9 if we put D in the bass. You can do this with every voicing we get from when we moved our interval cluster through the key of G. So you can see there's a ton of chords that can happen. Next, try practicing this concept using simple melodies. Here is a simple melody in the key of G. So try harmonizing every note of this melody with our cluster voicings. Remember to think about what the top note of each voicing is. Then once you can do that, just pick and choose where you want to use them. Think about which notes in our melody need to be accented. Then try mixing these voicings in with our normal drop 2 voicings. So you can see that these cluster voicings can be a powerful tool. Remember that you can always change the scale that you move the voicing through. Today we use the major scale, but you could also move it through other scales such as the melodic minor scale if you want to use this sound over alter dominants. The second chord concept and the last chord concept of this video comes from the great teacher Barry Harris, or at least I think it does. This is a technique that you can use on any kind of chord, a major chord, a minor chord, a dominant chord, but for the purposes of this lesson, we're going to be using it over diminished chords. Make sure that you know your basic diminished voicings on the guitar. So this concept is all about inner voice movement, which is something that a lot of guitarists don't do usually. The concept itself is very simple. All you do is take each note of our diminished voicing and move it up to the next note in the scale that it's out of. Here is our diminished scale that we'll be using for today. So let's use our C diminished voicing. Now take each note of our voicing and move it up to the next note in our scale, and keep all the other notes the same, and then move it back down. So you can see this concept gives us some really great tension and release all in one chord. You can even do this concept with two notes of the chord at once. Once you have some grips that you like, try inserting them into a line or use them in your comping. For example, we could copy and paste a couple of these grips over a dominant 7 chord. So normally we would probably play something like this over a D7 going to G minor. But now you could spice it up and make it into this. Like I said previously, you can use this concept over other types of chords too, such as major and minor chords. I like using this technique to delay resolutions to chords. So for example, in our previous line, we could use the inner voice movements to delay the resolution to our 1 chord being G minor. Check it out. Make sure to practice both of these concepts slow and really internalize these ideas. Both concepts are very expansive and require some work to master, but the time you put into that will be well worth it. I hope you enjoyed this video on amazing jazz guitar chords. If you want more of these kind of videos focusing on just chord concepts, let me know in the comment section below. If you have requests for future video ideas as well, let me know in the comment section. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video about amazing jazz chords, and as always, remember to always keep swinging.